Hello and welcome. Thank you for joining us. This is Diplomatic Corner coming to you every week this hour. I am Alan Temiskin with the program. Today, Director General of the Ethiopian Heritage Authority, Assistant Professor Ababa Ayalo, has come over to our studio to talk about the importance of heritage preservations and promotions for Ethiopia's diplomatic endeavor. So don't go away, stay with us. Professor, thank you so much indeed for your time and being on our program.
Thank you for inviting me.
Before taking you to the issue, the coming of French minister to Ethiopia, let's talk about the role of heritage, preservation in image building.
Well, Ethiopia is one of the countries in Africa that has a considerable variety of tangible and intangible heritage. So these heritage are some of them they are natural, some of them they are cultural, historic, and then also some of them intangible heritage of various communities. So in the since 2018, the government has given due attention to the conservation as well as valorization of this heritage. The Ethiopian Heritage Authority, as a proclaimed institution for the protection and preservation of this heritage, is doing a lot of things. One of the things that we do is conserving, registration. Then the most important thing is valorization. Valorization in the sense that we conserve and preserve heritage, that's not suffice. Unless they are valorized, they are meaningless. So valorization is a way of developing heritage so that the community and then the country at large can generate income from it, and then also through income generation, the community will understand their importance and significance in the economy as well as the image building. One important thing is that in terms of the number of UNESCO inscribed tangible and intangible cultural heritage, Ethiopia is the leading one in Africa. So we have about 16 tangible and intangible cultural heritage that are inscribed in the UNESCO list. So the significance of this is that the moment they are inscribed, they are promoted by themselves. More than our capacity to promote them, their registration in UNESCO promotes them. So usually Ethiopia's image in the West particularly is that of starvation, and then also poverty, and then a country that is that has no resources. So we have a lot of resources in terms of heritage, and then in the coming years, I think, with the help of the government and then communities, more heritage will be developed so that they can be of a great benefit for the country as well as the community.
Thank you. Recently, a new sustainable heritage development project has been, launched, following the coming of French Minister for Europe and Foreign Affairs. So, what is the project all about?
Since 2019, the French government has engaged in a large-scale cultural project and then also cultural heritage preservation in Ethiopia. So one of the most important projects is the Lalibela Rock-hewn Church conservation and preservation, as well as shelter building. And then also in parallel with that, we have a joint project on sustainable Lalibela heritage development. So we have been working with AFD and then also CNRS and then other partners from the French government and public institutions. So the first phase is completed in 2024, last November, and that has changed the landscape of Lalibela. So about 22 minor interventions in various rock-hewn churches were accomplished, and more than that, making Lalibela comfortable for visitors was one important thing. So new bridges and then also new landscapes in the area that will not disturb the integrity of the heritage, and then also quite a considerable conservation works were done. So sustainable Lalibela, in addition to conservation, it has other components too. So one is digitalization of the manuscripts that are important aspects of the heritage itself, and then capacity building also, training the local people how to carve stones, and then also how to make minor interventions in some churches that are damaged due to withering. So these components are important. About 32 people are trained very well, and now they are engaged in various development and conservation works in Lalibela, as well as similar churches in the Lasta area, and then also other places. The French foreign minister and then also the Minister of European Affairs, and then the Ethiopian Minister of Tourism has announced recently, as you know, the launching of Sustainable Lalibela Phase 2. So this time the Sustainable Lalibela Phase 2 project is not limited to Lalibela and its immediate environs. Rather, it includes areas as far as southern Tigray, Tambane, and then also the Sakota area, the Waghemra area, where there are churches of similar character that are hewn from rocks. So the scope this time is larger, and then I think in early January there will be that project will be implemented, and then in a matter of maybe 10 days we will have a kick-off meeting with the project. So this is one important thing. Another is French institutions, particularly the French Embassy and the French Center for Ethiopian Studies also is helping us to improve the standard of the National Museum. As you know, the National Museum has very limited space. With that limited space, our exhibition is not up to the standard of other modern museums that we see in different parts of the world. So improving the display and then also the narrative of the exhibition is one important thing. So the historic archaeology section is already done 2 years ago. This year, I think in January, we will complete the paleontology exhibition in the basement. And then one important agreement that His Excellency the Foreign Minister approved is the improving the standard of the art exhibition and the temporary exhibition, which is the first and second floor of the National Museum. So it's not only sustainable Lalibela that the French government is engaged in minor improvement works, and then also capacity building in museum development is something that they prioritized and helping us. There are also other research by French archaeologists and then also French scholars done in the Gedio area and then also in Lower Omo. So I think I definitely say that in terms of cooperation in the cultural sector, the French government has taken the lead more than any other government.
I saw you during the visit of the minister, French minister, and there is intergovernmental agreement made between the minister and the education minister, Professor Branagh. Do you have any idea of that agreement, if you can highlight it?
I don't know that one. I was not present. I have the honor of receiving both ministers, our minister and the French minister, and then guiding them through the exhibition, which the French has contributed a lot in terms of facilities, and then also museum mediation objects and showcase, and then many things related to the display. But in our case, one thing that the French government brought to us is the return, the handover of quite a considerable number of archaeological implements that were in France for more than 50 years. So the French were pioneers in terms of archaeological excavation and research in Ethiopia. So there was this famous scholar during the imperial period who excavated several sites in Malkakunturre, one of the best archaeological and paleontological sites in the Upper Awash area. So they were taken to France for research purposes, and they stayed there for more than 50 years. So the research is good, but they should not have stayed there for a long period of time. So more than 380 items were handed over. Probably you might have seen the minister handing over a few samples of stone implements from Malkakunturre. Their research has helped us to inscribe Malkakunturre in the World Heritage List last July.
In October 2018, Ethiopian Prime Minister Dr. Abiy Ahmed and French President Emmanuel Macron reached an agreement to conserve the Lalibela Church designated by UNESCO as World Heritage Sites. This agreement was followed by a joint declaration on the conservation and valorization of cultural heritage. Since then, significant strides have been made in conserving key heritage sites, including the renovation of the National Museum, the preservation of the Lalibela Church, and the restoration of the National Palace, which will be finalized in the coming few months, hopefully. This ongoing project, implemented in collaboration with the French Embassy, FD, and expertise of France, are building long-lasting relationships between our two countries, Ethiopia and France, and the specialists from these countries as well. Such collaboration is invaluable for ensuring the sustainability of these efforts. Ethiopia and France share a long history of bilateral ties, formally established 127 years ago. Our recent and continued cooperation in heritage preservation is a testament to this enduring relationship. France, with renowned expertise in this sector, heritage tourism, as demonstrated during the Paris Olympic Games, by the way, which was fantastic, if I may say so, underscores its significant contributions in this field. In light of this, I would like to express my deepest gratitude on behalf of myself and the Ministry of Tourism for two key milestones. First of all, the successful implementation of heritage tourism projects, and secondly, for the handover of the three magnificent bipeds and the stone chopper as part of the loan agreement. Your Excellency, the launch of this new project, Sustainable Heritage in Ethiopia, is indeed another testament to the strength of our historic bilateral ties. And this continued partnership in heritage tourism reinforces Ethiopia's vision of making tourism the cornerstone of its economic growth, contributing to the realization of a prosperous future for our country. In conclusion, I invite you all to discover why we actually call Ethiopia the land of origins.
I am delighted to know that this vestige of our common past will continue to be studied at the Ethiopian Heritage Authority by both Ethiopian and French scientists. The joint declaration of 2019 of the Ethiopian Prime Minister and President Macron, in which we reaffirmed our intention to strengthen our cooperation in the field of heritage, has led to a number of achievements. I'm referring here to operations aiming at preserving and showcasing major Ethiopian heritage sites. The National Museum, to the renovation of which France has been contributing for 2 years and will continue to contribute, the churches of Lalibela and the National Palace. These joint operations involve, alongside various Ethiopian partners, French institutions of excellence, major museums, such as Versailles, and specialized institutes, such as CNRS and INA, supported by Team France in Ethiopia, the embassy, and I thank the ambassador, the AFD, the French Development Agency, and Expertise France.
I think France is the only country that has been interested in engaging in archaeological discoveries and heritage preservations in Ethiopia. Why?
France is not the only country actually, but they have a very large-scale engagement in paleontology as well as archaeology, and then also historical research. That is because they have, unlike other countries and then governments, the French have a distinct Ethiopian Studies Center here in Ethiopia. So that was established in the late 1940s as the Archaeological Association, and then they have also a journal which its publication is not interrupted for a considerable time, Annal de Ethiopie. So the presence of this Ethiopian Studies Center attracts a considerable number of scholars from various institutions to Ethiopia. That's why they are engaged in a very extensive research in various fields, particularly in heritage. More than any other country in the West, the French know the value of cultural heritage. Actually, they generate a considerable amount of money from that, from the Versailles Palace and then from various museums and institutions in Paris and all across France. So they have a long tradition of cultural conservation and valorization, and then also they have a considerable number of institutions and scholars. That's why they are the leading ones in terms of heritage conservation projects in Ethiopia.
Great. So do you believe that this kind of engagement, cooperation, cultural heritage preservation would help the two nations, enhance the long-standing bilateral diplomatic relations?
Of course. More than cooperations in other sectors like education and economy, cultural cooperation in the cultural sector brings people and scholars more closer. So that's why if you talk about diplomatic relations, cooperations in the culture sector actually are not only exchange of knowledge and then material exchange. Rather, it's a sort of, understanding each other, and then bringing people, culture, and then also the thought of people together. So what they do in Lalibela, in Lower Omo, or in Gedo, or other places, large-scale engagements like the valorization and opening to the public of the National Palace is one important project, even though it's not under the direct guidance of the Ethiopian Heritage Authority. So that kind of project, you see, is beneficiary for both countries. And then the French, they are engaged in two very iconic cultural projects. These are the Lalibela project and the National Palace project. So being iconic projects, I think they bring governments more closer, and then also the scholars and the people of the two countries together.
Great. Let me take you to your organization. Would you give us an overview of your organizational activities at Ethiopian Heritage Authority and how your work is contributing to Ethiopia's diplomatic endeavor?
You see, the Ethiopian Heritage Authority is a state party representing Ethiopia to the UNESCO. So as such, it is engaged in various kinds of activities internationally. So we are currently committee members of the 1970 Convention for Illicit Trafficking of Heritage. And then also we are committee members of the 2006 Convention on the Preservation of Intangible Cultural Heritage. So as committee members, we engage with different requests for nomination, and then also support from different countries, particularly from sub-Saharan African countries, which is Group 5A. So we support African countries for the registration of their heritage in the World Heritage List. So we have done that to Rwanda, which was a country that does not have any single heritage inscribed in the World Heritage List. We supported them to inscribe 2 heritages last year. And then this year, one important thing which engaged us in a diplomatic activity is the registration of the Her Ise oral law, which is the intangible heritage of the Isa people. As you know, the Isa people live in 3 countries: Ethiopia, Djibouti, and Somalia. So we are the ones who prepared the nomination file mostly, but we were engaged in communities from 3 countries, and then also government and community representatives from both the 3 countries. So apart from that, one thing that engages us in a wide range of diplomatic activity is restitution of heritage. As you know, Ethiopian heritage were looted from the country at different times, and then we find them in various places, particularly in Europe and America. We are not the only country whose heritage is looted and stolen under different circumstances, but there are several countries: Egypt, Greece, India, Mexico. So we actively engage with many countries in the process, and then also in the activity of restituting or repatriating this stolen and looted heritage to the country of their origin. So such kind of things engage us in a wide range of diplomatic relations and activities, and then through this, the permanent delegation to UNESCO in Paris also helps us a lot.